Had a problem with the network there. Everything went down on me. Looks like we're back and good to go. Right now we're holding short of runway 09 left at Philly International for a short flight to Millville International or Millville Executive Airport. It's a small airport in Millville, New Jersey. It's a few miles from where I live. Just trying to get everything else figured out here. Give me 1 second. I shouldn't have any traffic. Trying to get the chat up here. Here we go. Okay, now we're back. Go ahead and close this. Alright. Gonna release the brakes. And continue on to the active runway. And as I said before, we are in a Sirius. It's a single turbine engine, small light aircraft. We're gonna hope for about 2,500 feet today. We are going to be taking off into the north, and then we're going to be making a right-hand turn back towards the airport. And then we're going to continue on to Millville. From what I understand from some of the flight instructors at Millville, this is a typical flight they do to try to gain ATC, hours while you're in training. Alright, we're going to turn right here. Proceed to the end of the runway. Now this is with ortho and some overlays from the Ultra Mesh guys. It looks very realistic from the air. If anybody's flying and you don't have ortho or the overlays, I would spend the time to get it done correctly because it looks fantastic once you figure it out. It took me a little bit of time to actually get the overlays to work correctly, the auto gen for the buildings and trees. I normally do small flights out of Millville, and every time I loaded the game, the auto gen would put trees where the airport was, so it basically thought I was in a forest. So of course you can't really fly in a forest, so it took me probably a few days to get the overlays for the Ultra Mesh to work correctly. But once I got it done correctly, everything came out beautiful. Now this is not the correct flight pattern for this airport. Philly International, the runway we're going to head on to right now is actually primarily the landing runway. We're just kind of doing our own thing here in the spirit of Air Force Proud 95. And as I said, I'm not a real pilot yet. We're hoping to become one. I'm trying to go for my commercial license. I'm looking to go to ATP flight school. They're all over the place. They have a couple. There's one in Trenton, New Jersey. There's one in Dover by the Air Force Base. The only problem is that $100,000 price tag. Everyone I talk to says it's totally worth it. Go ahead and make our left-hand turn onto the runway here. It's a little fast. We're just going to go ahead and assume nobody's landing, and we're just going to roll into the runway. Flaps are set. Going to go ahead, give her full power. Airspeed's alive. Rotate. Little flaps off. Landing gear up. Trim it out a little bit. About 100 feet. We are still over the runway. Stall warning, of course. Not flying if you don't stall. Once we reach 1,000, I'm going to make a right-hand turn back towards the runway. Alright, make a right-hand turn. Start leveling out at 2,000. Stop going into overspeed. Right now, I believe we are flying over my job currently. What's our heading? 260, 252. Alright, make a left-hand turn. Go ahead and get rid of the airport. See if I can trim it out to be level. It's about level. That's better. Let's actually get on the flight plan. I don't think I'm going to get intercepted for a VFR plan, but you never know. Could happen. Small runway right there. Not exactly sure what airport that is. It's not Cross Keys, that's for sure. Cross Keys is a little bit farther inland. Well, it looks like my overlay is working exactly how I wanted it to. That's nice to know. It's not the best looking overlay on streams that I've seen, but it'll work. Go ahead and turn right a little bit to rejoin the flight plan path. Now it shows our ETA is 10 minutes. I'm apparently going a little faster than it once. As I said, this was going to be a short flight. It was only maybe 30 nautical miles, I believe, from Philly International to the airport. Now I do have a landing plugin installed, so everybody gets to laugh at how terrible my landings are. With this flight stick, I really haven't mastered landings at all. They're terrible. I'm not necessarily used to this aircraft either. I'm not sure what the stall speed is, what the proper landing speed is. I believe it's around 80 knots. I could be wrong. We're actually right around the target altitude too. We're right around 2,500 feet. Alright, now we're on flight path. It shows 10 minutes. Gotta bump the speed up a little bit. This flight stick, I really need to go ahead and recalibrate and set the sensitivity on this flight stick because I'm barely touching it and it's bouncing on me. I'm really trying to save up for a CH yoke and a set of pedals and hopefully a throttle quadrant. If my wife is listening, maybe I can get some for Christmas. Or if my buddy ever buys this RC car, I could buy it then. A little off like It's funny looking at it right now, I'm not entirely sure I know where we are. It's a warehouse of some sort. I could be Woodstown over in the distance there. I thought I was going to be following a major highway, but I guess I turned a little too soon. Our major highway 55 comes in and runs pretty much directly to the to the airport. Actually, I think I know where we are. If these power poles are in the correct place, we should be going through Elmer at the moment. And we're getting on flight plan again. It's the only bad thing about a visual flight path. I want to bring up the airport. Set this up for our active airport. So once we get closer, that's automatically going to populate the runways. So I can get a better idea of which direction the runways are facing. I believe neither one of the runways are east-west. I believe they're a little catty corner north-south. The overlay's working very well. Gain some altitude here. see if we can set the autopilot. Altitude hold. We'll set it for level. Flight director. See if that keeps us. Set it on nav, and it should put us back on the flight plan. I've never tried this. We're gonna go ahead and try it out though. Yes, it indeed is going to put us back on the flight plan. Alright. And apparently it's not going to go by the altitude that I've selected. This right here is what the Ortho XP or X-plane tiles can get you. Very good looking scenery. I mean, this right here is, that right there is actually the highway that I was talking about. That is Route 55. Actually, I'm lying. That's the Atlantic City Expressway right there. Because... is this 55? No. 55 is probably to our right. Alright, 3 minutes. G1000 in this cockpit is absolutely amazing to look at. And that's my trim, everybody. That's how bad this flight stick is. That's the airport right there in sight. So we're going to go ahead and disable autopilot. Go ahead and start leveling off. Yes, I'm aware I'm crashing. This flight stick is extremely bouncy. I don't like it at all. Apologize for that. Drop the flaps here, give it a little bit of speed. Keep from falling out of the sky as we make our final into the airport. Bring the flaps up a notch. Now this looks like the shorter of the two runways. This runway is actually closed in real life. As I said before, this isn't a very realistic flight we're doing here. There was no flight plan actually followed. We're just following the flight director, basically. This is probably going to be an absolutely terrible landing, so I can't wait to see how bad it tells me I'm doing when I hit the landing. It's probably going to say you're fired. Bad glide slope. The flaps down the rest of the way. This is going to be a terrible landing, people. Don't judge me. Drop the throttle. Coaster in, coaster in, coaster in. Yep, you're fired. Told you. I knew we were going to get you fired. Brakes, brakes, brakes. Let off. And we're going to find the taxiway up here on the left. Well, that was an absolutely terrible flight. I'm actually rather ashamed of myself how bad this flight actually was. Make the next left and we're going to go towards the parking. And it's amazing because this is pretty much what the airport looks like. It's just a small, crappy airport. Pull off over here. I believe the one we want is behind the orange building. One of these hangars, the big one over there is the one that's open, that's right. It's always hard to remember which one of these is open in the game. I believe this is the flight school, believe it or not. I forget the name of it. You go to Kmiv's website, that's the flight school at the airport. Could be on the other side, I can't remember. Fairly certain it's on the left side of the airport. So that was a rather terrible runway 14 landing. A little sad of myself, actually. We're gonna go park in the big hangar. Now, I don't know if anybody noticed, while we were coming in, the ortho tiles actually have New Jersey Motorsports Park in the game. It's not detailed, it's just a flat tile, but it's there. If anybody's ever been there, it's really nice to have that in the game. The default tiles just had woods around the airport, and it hasn't been that way in probably 10 years. Fairly certain this is open on both sides, so we're just going to go ahead and... Yeah, it's open on both sides, okay. Go in here and park, and then we're going to shut it down. tooltips. Park her right there. Verify parking brake is set. Brakes are on. Okay. Go ahead and turn the engine off. Turn off all of our switches. See if it'll let us clear the flight plan. No, I didn't think so. Alright. She shut down. That was our flight. Thanks for watching.